by Riverside.
Hello, and after a long absence, welcome back to the Sad Fan, where we talk about the good, the bad, and everything that made us sad. We got a couple weeks to go over. We have been off the air for a bit now. I'm going to go ahead and start because it's mostly my fault for being far from home or home from far now. I'm going to say the Desean Watson ruling by the third-party judge made me a little bit sad, and I'm not going to get too far into the weeds with it because we still have an appeal process going on right now, but the fact, if you actually read the ruling on this, and I know it's something we've been talking about for a while, she essentially said he's a terrible person and he's guilty of everything that he's been accused of. Like, she literally outlines it in the nicest way possible. I'm pretty certain he committed the crimes he's been accused of. But what she based the 6-week ruling on is she said there's no precedent on this yet, which I've heard before, both, serving within the military and on the outside world, which is if someone commits a crime or commits a act that is not one that the company would have liked, if there's no precedent for any punishment yet, then it is very rare for them to get, the death penalty. But yeah, that was mine. I don't want to get too far into the weeds with it. It was just disappointing that it was 6 weeks. While I understand it, I did think it was a win that the judge did in fact say I do believe him to be a terrible person. And I mean, if the judge that doesn't even know what's going on says from now on you can only get massages from team masseuses, team authorized masseuses, not authorized, pardon me, just masseuses employed by the team. like that. I mean, that told me all I need to know. Like, this dude's a pig. He's a terrible person. Taylor, well, go ahead, Josh. You got words on that. Go ahead.
Oh, that was a solid yeah.
Just a solid agreement. We are in agreement here. Desean Watson is a fucking terrible person. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to do it. It slipped.
Just do.
Yeah, I mean, whether or not these women were willing to accept payment for silence or not, I think his actions are pretty apparent, allegedly, and I just hope that he gets what he deserves. Kudos to this judge. Also, kudos to her for doing it in a calm manner. I don't feel like I could have, or many other people.
Just the worst person. Like, I just look at him and, like, I want to do the movie thing where we lower our glasses slightly so he sees our eyeballs and be like, you're the worst, right?
Yeah, you're a dookie bag, right?
just the biggest one. And I don't want this to go too far without some of our listeners understanding that we do have a guest with us. You have seen him on our other property, Gorp. It is the leader at the helm of that show, Joshua Berkeley.
That's a strong statement. Hey, everybody. Glad to be here.
So what made you sad this weekend, Josh?
Oh,
just take a good swig before you answer.
The Serena Williams retirement. That's saddening, I would say. Not like she should keep going. Like, she deserves to retire and like have the rest of her life. I just dropped it on y'all for decades. I'm done. Good night. I got grandkids or whatever. She didn't have grandkids, does she? 41, 45?
No, but you want to hear something interesting? About that?
Yeah,
she started her career in 1995.
Oh, my goodness. That's incredible.
That's almost 30 years. That's almost 30 years of being a tennis superstar.
Yeah.
Wild.
What?
Wild.
Dropping elbows on people over and over.
Yeah, I mean, and if you think about it, she had one competitor, and it was her sister.
Yeah. It's like some Goku, Vegeta stuff right there, man. Everyone else go to bed.
Yeah, there are no equals here. Well, Well, that's interesting. I thought we were going to go the sumo route there, but I got a curveball.
Well, the sumo was the
Taylor.
sumo route is. We can talk about that later, but that's an ongoing want of mine. I've always wanted this.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've always wanted what?
Oh, I've always wanted more sumo recognition. I've always wanted that. It should be just as big as, like, I don't know, a minor league baseball championship for the state or something. Like, it should be on TV somewhere. I want to see some sumo and more weird sports. But sumo is the poster child for that. Yeah.
So tell me about sumo, because honestly, I dig it. It's two giant men just going at it. Phrasing. It is two gargantuan human beings slapping each other's bodies as hard as they can. Right? Is that what it is? Wow, it sounded bad again. There's no way to make this sound good. I saw Taylor's face and I was like, yep, it happened twice.
And that's the problem. It's marketing. Do you want to see it?
It's accurate.
Yeah. That's the problem. But it's
also, and I mean no disrespect by this, but the names are always very difficult to pronounce, right?
Oh, okay. Okay, you're posing a strong case here, bud.
You've seen hockey.
Yeah. Ooh.
I'm posing a strong case. What was that, Taylor?
I said, yeah, but that's the case for a lot of sports. You've seen hockey.
You know, I stand to this day that with you're right, hockey was a good one. Golly. We are just throwing barbs right now. That was a really good, because I defy you to pronounce 60% of the hockey league.
I mean, that's kind of the thing. A lot of sports originate in other places, in other countries, where they don't spell names like we do. But also, SNL literally poked fun at hockey for that particular reason when Chance the Rapper was on. And if you have not seen that sketch, it is the New York Rangers Chance the Rapper SNL sketch. I highly recommend that you check it out if you don't know what I'm talking about. It's very funny. So I've got to be honest, and I was jesting a little bit when it came to sumo, but it is an obscure sport in the United States, if I'm correct. I'm positive, man. It's not something that I don't think will go mainstream, but there is a day of the year that ESPN celebrates every year, and it's due to the movie Dodgeball, and it's ESPN 8, The Ocho, and they just show obscure sports. Like one year we had bottle flips. Remember that bottle flipping challenge, the dumbest challenge on earth? Can you make this bottle land? I am unaware of this. But I love this idea.
You're not aware of this?
I had no idea.
Every year.
But I love the concept.
Every year, August 8th.
The movie Dodgeball, I'm here for it. And it's like weird-ass games that random, like, everyday people can play. Mm-hmm. Amazing.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Support it.
It's and they have a dodgeball event, just so you know, Taylor. They have a dodgeball.
Every man's sport.
Yeah. It's great. Everyone loves it. And I'm thinking, Josh, would you be all in if they had a sumo portion of that day?
You're goddamn right. Excuse my language. I'm sorry. Absolutely.
Okay, but does that mean that you're packing on the actual pounds, or is this like those blow-up sumo suits?
Oh, no. I would be a very unsuccessful minor leaguer if I was to really commit to it. And I wouldn't. That's too much discipline. Sumo wrestlers are some of the most disciplined athletes on earth. They're incredible. They're incredible athletes. They're very strict regimens that almost no one could ever even dream of. Like it's a beautiful thing. And it's really just like, maybe it's like part of it. I used to be a lineman in football. So just going against someone and slapping your face into their face and just wrestling with them. I used to do that all the time. It's great. Yeah. We can't make this.
That's how Josh learned to make out, slapping his face into their face. So I didn't mean to do that. I meant to mute before I cleared my throat. But I got so excited when we were on this that I was thinking about something, Josh. When Taylor, when you brought up Josh, are you all in? Are you going to pack on the pounds? I thought of, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it was the Three Ninjas Part 2 where they go to Japan and Tum Tum is going to be a sumo wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
So he's like training with sumo wrestlers.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's so crazy. And he's like in his little suit and he's eating the rice.
I just bought that movie on VHS for my brother for his birthday and I sent it to him. I found it in the thrift store.
The Karate Kids 1, 2, or 3?
Three Ninjas 2. Three Ninjas Strike Back.
I meant Three Ninjas. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. So he does, right? He tries to become a sumo wrestler. Three Ninjas Strike Back.
I didn't get to watch it because it was on VHS, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, they go to Japan and he does some sumo stuff. He's Tum Tum. Yeah. Tum Tum is the coolest one.
I do not know what.
You know what's funny is.
You've
never seen Three Ninjas Strike Back?
No, I feel
it doesn't
so,
age too well. It doesn't age too well, but it's still a fun movie. It's these three kids, they're brothers, and their grandpa for some reason is Japanese, and he takes them in the forest and teaches them how to be ninjas, and then they bring those skills home after summer camp and apply them to real life, and they save the day, and it's pretty cool. But yeah, it's like early 90s.
Saving the day from? I'm sorry, I know this isn't sports related.
Oh, the mob or somebody, you know.
No, it's okay.
It's
some bad guy.
Yeah,
it's very 90s. It's very 90s.
Yeah, it's like, give me the 3.5x5 floppy disks so I can do the business corruption. I don't know. Yeah, and then they kick him in the face.
How many people just went onto Google and searched what is a floppy disk?
Right, what is a floppy disk? I'll give you the rundown too, Taylor. This will make a lot of sense. The oldest brother is very disciplined and looks after the younger brothers, kind of like Leonardo the Turtle or Jason the Power Ranger. Then the middle brother is the rebel, and he wants to revolt like Raphael might in the Ninja Turtles. TikTok, his name is Colt. And then you have Tum Tum. And he fights with candy.
Actually, I've been meaning to mention this.
It sounds like it should be an animal.
Tum Tum.
What?
He didn't describe what it was exactly. He just said you're Tum Tum. So he was waiting for some.
Yeah, he's
like you're the strong one. This is what he's giving you the names, handing him the mask. This is who your persona is.
Yeah,
and just like Fry said, and then you're Tum Tum. And okay.
So yeah, what I was gonna say, I was tying it back in, but I wanted to give Taylor, my first two cats were named after Three Ninjas Part 1.
Yeah.
Rocky loves Emily, so I had a cat named Rocky and a cat named Emily.
Nice.
You'll only get that joke if you watch it.
As you well know, we're very big on naming cats after movies around here.
Exactly. And that was our cats. Exactly. Rocky and Emily. But there was a funny thing, and the Three Ninjas actually tied me back into it, is last year on ESPN 8 The Ocho, they did this board breaking sport, right? And there's this Korean team that I swear to God, or whatever you believe in, they fly. Ooh. They fly. They legitimately fly. Like, they'll bounce off one's knee, go flipping through the air like mad people, and they'll break boards in midair. And it's insane. It's the most insane thing you've ever seen. They were on America's Got Talent last year as well. Avalanche makes his mandatory appearance on the show.
We love it.
So and his tie-in is he's a sled dog from the movie Snow Dogs. Google it. But I really thought that was cool. Josh, outside of sumo wrestling, what would you say is your favorite obscure sport? Because I really want to celebrate this holiday.
Well, I'm a big fan of. I'm not sure if you ever played. Get down. Hockey in like the table quarter game hockey, perhaps.
Okay.
It's like on a beer pong length table, and you use quarters, and you can do it at so many distances. Sorry for this.
It kind of reminds me of Crossfire right now, what you're describing. It kind of reminds me of Crossfire. Remember that? Crossfire.
Yeah. And there's a game already involved with it's sort of Crossfire based. I just saw it like this week. It's kind of a big octagon felt. You start from any side of the octagon. You're going to the center, and there's a hole in the middle with little pegs surrounding it. So you're hitting stuff like what's the ball throwing in the grass? You have balls.
I think so. I think I do.
You get closer to the hole than the other guy, basically. It's good.
Phrasing. We're on a roll today in this sad fan with phrasing. Especially with how heavy I started off the episode. We've got men on top of men smacking men, and we've got getting your balls closest to the holes as long as you got balls. I got you.
Let's keep.
I got you. I think we're properly out of the obscure sports. I will say, Taylor, I think at the production meeting, this caught you off guard. The professional sport of marble racing was one of my favorites.
Never heard of it until this moment. I guess this is the theme for me for this episode. I feel very uneducated for some reason today. Usually I'm pretty well versed.
Well, it is the Ocho, and we're talking about all these obscure sports and honestly where they came from. And I don't know where we could have gotten marble racing. Like a lot of these sports, I can kind of get where we would come from. Like the breaking of the boards, sumo wrestling is ancient in Japan, right? The breaking of the boards is something that is a rite of passage in most karate techniques or schools, especially like you see all those videos of those little 2-year-old kids trying to break, and it's inspiring. And we're like, oh my God, it's so cute that 2-year-old broke a board, whatever, right? But then marble racing, and I'm like, where in the world did this guy think of this? And Josh, you could speak to this. It's amazingly done.
Oh, it's so well done. My favorite ones are ones that are in dirt tracks or something. So someone carves out like, I don't know, it seems like a half acre of stretch. Maybe. I don't know, depending on the video. But they have like probably 25 or so marbles, all different colors and names. And they do it just like a horse race. Like they're going down the line. The guy's like, making announcements. But there's like different tunnels and ramps and maybe a little water hazard or something. So you never know who's going to win. And it lasts like 10 minutes. It's really mindless and thrilling.
So what I'm also hearing is that these people who build these tracks are also equally as skilled at editing and putting together videos to entertain the masses.
They are. The commentary, it's just, like I said, oh no, and the yellow dragons have slipped behind the orange mermaids.
All right, well, that's sort of Legends of the Hidden Temple.
And it kind of is.
I think maybe people, at some point, some marbles were sponsored by like companies too. So cool for them. Yeah.
It's a trip. You're absolutely right, and he names every marble, and then he talks about like, on the last year's race, this one came in second, and it was a tough loss for him. So he's really in it to win.
I feel like the most
and it's all true, but they're just marbles.
This whole story, and I don't know who these people are that are making these tracks and putting these videos together, but it sounds like an architect or an artist or someone who's really into engineering that like went out and put this together, and somehow they're on ESPN.
Yeah. It's wild. They made it to ESPN from YouTube. Honestly, the sports is going to be the next crossover, right? I know we talked about, is this what boxing is going to become a couple episodes ago with YouTube stars boxing each other, athletes boxing each other, like TikTok beefs and random things like that. But it is wild how social media and YouTube have kind of changed the landscape of everything we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I also want to say one really quick before we get out of ESPN 8 The Ocho. Everybody check it out. That's all I can say. August 8th, every year, ESPN runs ESPN 8 The Ocho, and it's based off of dodgeball. Go ahead, Josh.
Slap boxing.
Yeah, slap boxing is a big one on there. That's actually how I learned about dumpling. And if you want to know who dumpling is, just YouTube dumpling. That's a big boy. It's a wild sport, but I was thinking arm wrestling and extreme arm wrestling.
Sure.
And Over the Top. Do you remember that movie with Sylvester Stallone, Over the Top? Yeah. You gotta wrap it around.
Yeah, but I remember even as a kid thinking,
the joke.
What is happening right now? He just travels around and arm wrestles? Like, that's the movie? Okay. Cool, okay.
He's like, what is it? He gets in the truck with his son, his mom is rich, so his dad's just a truck driver, so she married low, but she's dying of cancer now, so he gets to see his son for the first time in years. And then they get in the truck, and the first thing, you ever seen one of these, kid? Look, this is how I get strong for my arm wrestling competitions. Go ahead, give it a go. What's happening?
That was a real roller coaster of an impression right there. I really liked it.
How many did we go through? I felt a little Arnold Schwarzenegger in there.
At least 3, yeah.
I'm not well practiced in my Stallone. I could just, yo, Adrian, something like that. But yeah, if you haven't seen it, check it out. It is a sports movie. What's that?
Oh yeah. Oh, I can't really say anything. I just do. I don't. If I actually try to say anything, it doesn't work. But yeah, that's an actual sports movie.
Yeah.
Remember the Nintendo video game sport movie, like way back when, and now it's a reality. Like they had a
Wizard.
Maybe it was called Wizard. They had the glove. Yeah. And now people are millionaires.
That one's different. No, that one's different. Wizard is the one where, like, you're thinking of Darren, I think is what the one you're thinking of is called. It's called Darren, Daryn.
I don't remember.
I think that's the one with the glove.
And it had Mario 3 was like the final, like the finale of the show.
So that's Mario Wizard.
3. Okay.
That's Wizard. Okay, stop it. We're doing a Gorp episode. You're pulling me into your world. All right.
That's esports, and that's real life now. That's pretty cool.
It is real now. It's totally wild. All these 80s movies became real sports out of nowhere, and that's the Ocho. Yeah. But going from the Ocho to another sport that's kind of real and kind of fake, let's talk about wrestling. And Taylor, I'm going to go ahead and I know you're our producer, but you have a lot to say about the Vince McMahon stuff and him stepping down and retiring.
Oh, yeah.
Stepping down or being forced to step down?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I think it was long overdue. I'm very excited for what's to come with the WWE now because along with Vince McMahon leaving, his lead creative director has also recently been let go. Triple H will be taking over as head of creative, and I think that the future for the WWE looks bright, and I'm very excited.
Oh. So bright, why would you say bright? Because I will say Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Triple H for all of you, did amazing things with Next. But where do you see it going?
I'm definitely excited to see a little more of the old school flair, not the old school mentality per se. I think, Triple H was part of a huge era in early 2000s wrestling, and his storylines were some of the most followed, most loved storylines, on top of him being an amazing wrestler. I think he has the knowledge of the audience to come up with good creative storylines that the audience wants to see and is ready for. I think for a long time the WWE was trying to force certain wrestlers on them in a light that the audience didn't want, and I think that Triple H being the head of creative will lead it in a direction that's geared a lot more towards the audience.
Agreed.
Josh, how do you really feel about Triple H?
Oh, I think the human being who plays Triple H is a pretty cool guy. I think he's been my least favorite wrestler since always.
I was just waiting.
Yeah.
That's why he was so good. He was supposed to be a heel, and you didn't like him, but he was still a great wrestler. But there's so many better heels too, though. So he was just right in the middle. The problem though is that he was surrounded by titans. Everyone was a legend back then.
Yeah,
and he just was the B plus, maybe the A- guy, which doesn't discount him at all.
Well, he's with one of our favorites of all time, Josh. I think we both agree Shawn Michaels is one of our favorites of all time.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels too.
No,
a heartbreak.
Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold. That's my two. Yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't really team up with Stone Cold. But you remember, response to the NWO, and now we're getting into the Attitude Era, they formed Degeneration X, which I got torn because I loved NWO. And then all of a sudden I'm like, do I love Degeneration X more? Do I want to tell people to suck it, even though I don't know what that means yet?
So that was Triple H, Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, all those guys, right? That was that era?
Yep.
Right.
So Ric Flair is a little prior to, but he did get involved in the Attitude Era, for sure.
Huge part of the Generation X. I remember that. They were hoisting him up. He was their older, guru person that
They're a demigod.
Yeah,
Madonna.
like not really like a demigod, because I don't think they like necessarily looked up to him as like, oh, we have to follow him and praise him, but they're like,
Oh, I think they did.
This
It
is
was
our
Big Brother,
elder.
for sure.
Like, he was amazing, and he's still amazing at what he does. So we respect him, and we, you know, put him on a pedestal. You know,
Right.
He actually just had a match, Taylor. He actually just had his final match, and I don't know if I believe that or not, but he just had his final match, and it was awful. It was hard to watch. But he's like 78 years old or 75 years old or something.
What do you expect? The guy probably should have stopped a while ago, but money talks. I guess.
Yeah, I mean, but
do you remember, Josh, the Four Horsemen?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, he's in a cool position though, real quick, where he's had his last match, and so that means in a year he can get $1 million doing one match. Like that's the upgrade. That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Sweet spot.
That's why I did the quotes.
Yeah.
Like, maybe.
Just keep showing up, and then like someone's gonna come and piss him off. Like, okay, I'll see you. It's WrestleMania, $1 million. Great.
And I do think, though, yes, Triple H was a major role player in the Attitude Era, but I do think Vince McMahon was a terrible person, but he created – that was so perfect for the time, everything that was going on. Like, it is not okay today to put women in bubble wrap bikinis.
Yeah.
I understand that.
Absolutely.
No. So
90s
and that's what I'm talking about. I think with this new change in, you know, positions and people on the board of this company, I think we're going to get that like wrestling flair that we love and that we want to see with our, you know, talent and the storylines. But I strongly hope and feel that we will not get any of that misogynistic bullshit. I'm sure they won't get it perfect every time. A lot of people don't, but I'm sure there will be a lot more of a concerted effort moving forward, especially with all of the changes they've made in their women's division and an effort to make them more of a prominent place in the WWE and more of an athlete status instead of a diva, you know?
Yeah, and then that goes
there are more wrestlers now than...
Oh, sorry. That goes back to Triple H. Now that he's like in charge of creative, he's. I mean, who cares how he wrestled? In my opinion, like he's been in it this entire time. He's always been for the working man, like these fellow wrestlers and shit. So money's going to be right. People are going to be like taken care of better. It's going to be bright and golden future. And like creatively, he knows what worked and what didn't work and how to evolve. He's a chameleon. Yeah.
Where I was going with that, Josh, with China is he helped build up that character who was a very strong female persona. Yeah. Like, she was. They tried to use her as like the ninth wonder of the world sideshow freak, but she was a legitimately decent wrestler during her time. Remember, she had that whole storyline with Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
Where he ties her up in a room because she beat him for the Intercontinental title, and like it's like a torture video of him torturing China because she won't give up the location. Like the Attitude Era was wild.
That's some Jerry Springer.
Like to put it in perspective. Yeah. Well, so there's two things. Three, and I'll let you do the Gold Dust Roddy Piper thing because you were just celebrating Roddy Piper Day.
All right.
I'll let you talk about their backlot brawl. But I want to cover two of them that really stick out to me from the Attitude Era. One was right smack in the middle of the Attitude Era, right? The Undertaker had a group called The Ministry. Okay? The Ministry was the Undertaker's group. And it was like Big Boss Man, Val Venus, the Acolytes with Bradshaw and Farouk. It was totally nuts. And at one point, right in the middle of the Attitude Era, they literally, from his little symbol, the Undertaker had like this weird cross-like symbol, right?
Yeah,
and he hung Ken Shamrock's little sister like Jesus from this cross, and Ken Shamrock had to fight the entire ministry to rescue her. Go ahead, Taylor.
To be more specific, it's a cross that is a stake and also a T.
Oh, you see it? You know? It's also a T. Yeah, check out the Undertaker's ministry symbol. It was weird. It had like a circle around it. It was a wild symbol that the Undertaker had. And then towards the end of the Attitude Era, the last thing I remember was Val Venus sleeping with the Yakuza characters on WWE. The Yakuza character, like the head of the Yakuza's wife, and him taking a katana to Val Venus's manhood. and just hacking it off. And then right before it gets hacked off, WWE went off the air. Like the lights went out and all you saw was black. Like, what happened? Did he do it? And then it's funny because I remember like the next WWE, all you hear is Val Venus, and it used to come out to this. It used to be like, "Hello, ladies," and then he walks out on stage and he's like totally fine. But you're gonna get a kick out of this. Guess who walked out with him? John Wayne Bobbitt.
Whoa.
Do you guys know who that is?
Yeah. He's a man who...
You know, Josh, tell Taylor who John Wayne Bobbitt is.
He's a man, I don't know the whole story offhand, but I think his lady friend, maybe wife, found out he was cheating perhaps, or a cute thought. I don't know, but she cut off his... He cut him off. And I believe she threw him in the highway.
And then I would have known what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lorraine Bobbitt.
Yeah, I could have said that and I would have known.
I'm sorry, but that's basically... That shows you guys, though, how wild WWE was. Now, Josh, talk to me a little bit about that. You were celebrating Roddy Piper Day, and I don't want to leave this. This is a sports show, so talk to us about that backlot brawl between Goldust and Roddy Piper.
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, it wasn't officially Roddy Piper Day. I just decided that that day was Roddy Piper Day, so that was it. Just sent some gifts. But yeah, the Roddy Piper Day, the match between him and Goldust. I'm not even sure exactly when it was. Maybe around 95, and I'm not sure what led up to it. But the big fight, it was like almost 20 minutes long, and you got Roddy Piper, and Goldust has the big old onesie. He's glittering gold all over his face and everything. And I'm pretty sure the whole thing was Goldust just wanted to kiss Roddy Piper, and he wouldn't have it. No way. It was very homophobic in general. Like, there was a lot of entendres in the fight, like dry humping and stuff. And he's like, "Oh, how dare you!" And it was like, that's awful. But it was an incredible fight because it went out into the stage.
It's the attitude era, though.
They were in the hallway and throwing pipes at each other, and in the bathroom doing swirlies, and it was a ridiculous fight. Blood everywhere.
Okay, well, at least
who got hit with the car?
What was that?
One of the wrestlers got hit by a car in that match.
Oh, yeah.
I think Goldust hit Roddy Piper with his car.
Yep.
There was a lot of weird things at the end of the Attitude Era, right? Do you remember the Rock and Sock connection?
No.
So that's when Mankind and The Rock tag teamed up, and they were a tag team for a while. So they did that. It was called the Rock and Sock Connection. And then they did X-Pac and Kane became a tag team, and X-Pac put a Degeneration X shirt on Kane. Made him part of DX. They did some wild stuff.
Looked all demon-y.
After.
He was demon-y.
Well, I mean, he always looks kind of funky, but there was a period before, and then the after period was like the black spandex suit with the red and the like crazy contact.
So it was before that then. Yeah, it was before that. It was a red suit with black accents and the mask. That's like when he had the Inferno match against The Undertaker.
No.
He should have never taken the
Inferno match.
Is like bald Kane with the
Yeah, you're right. He should have never taken that mask off.
Yeah, dude, luchador status, dog.
You know, he's a total
menacing though. Some of my favorite.
He's too scary.
He was some of my favorite matches growing up were Kane versus Undertaker.
I don't want to put too much stock into Kane. He's a terrible person. If you don't believe me, ladies and gentlemen, look at what he's doing as either a mayor of a city in Tennessee or the governor of Tennessee. I don't know. He's pretty awful.
He's in politics now?
He's in politics.
Oh, no.
You ever heard of a man named Jesse the Body Ventura?
Yes.
He was the governor of Minnesota for a time.
Yeah. But now we live in
These are things we do as humans.
That's how he talks.
So it is how he talks. So as we wind down this episode, Josh, I really appreciate you for joining. I just want to let the audience know we're going to talk about the NFL. I realize it's preseason, but let me remind you all it's preseason. Relax.
You better calm down.
I had a very funny conversation there was somebody that told me I can't be a real fan if I don't think like I can't remember what it was, but it was somewhere along the lines of my team's the greatest team ever, and if you don't think that, you're not a real fan. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
When the knives come
I
out,
can
baby.
be a real fan and be honest. What's that, Josh?
That's when the knives come out. Everybody calm down. It's just preseason.
It's just preseason. But Josh mentioned this a moment ago as we end. Josh, you said something funny to me. And it was when we were competing at some different things. We were doing like horseshoes, some drinking games, things like that. And you're like, look, it's not that I want to be bad. I want to be good. I like playing all these games.
Oh yeah, someone said stop messing around. I'm not messing around. I'm smiling. That's all I'm doing. I'm just bad at this.
I'm trying really hard.
Yeah.
So I say all that because I also remember when the last Super Bowl I watched with you was a Patriot Super Bowl against the Giants in a dorm room back in the day.
Oh yeah,
and, I remember
that was the day that I knew I had chronic depression. That was the day I found out. I hate football
because I remember you were in the room. That's the last time I saw you watch it. Like legitimately, I know you watch it in passing and you keep track, and sometimes you even ask us about the big games that are going on. Yeah. But can I ask you what happened with that relationship as we fade out? Like, what happened with that relationship, or is it just something you realize, hey, this doesn't need to be this big of a part of my life?
Well, I'd just watch it whenever the games were on here and there, like maybe a game or two a week, and try to keep up with the news and such. But the big thing for me was moving to. I got stationed in Italy for a couple years, and you can't watch NFL in England. Or I was in Italy.
It's so hard.
Yeah, I can't stay up that late. I'm not doing it. It's not that important to me. So I get back home.
Yeah.
And when I get back home, everyone's on like fantasy leagues and stuff, so they know everything about everyone. They're on like the dietary needs of each player and shit, and they're talking about it casually. And I'm like, oh, that was a good pass. And so I'm like, okay, this isn't even fun with people anymore. So, just stop watching.
That was it. That was the checkout. I mean, I get it. It's going to be hard while I'm here, definitely to keep up. Right now they charge a TV tax in England to watch live sports. So I'm looking into that. I'm looking into any. Yeah, I'm dead serious, Taylor. It's a TV tax to watch any live TV.
If you get like a VPN, can you just use like streaming services and stuff like that?
So there are streaming services available. We'll talk about this when we're not being recorded because, anyone can watch this at any time. So if I get audited, the fine is up to £2,500, which is like $3,400. So for clarification, I'm only watching Netflix and Disney Plus at this time. We do not watch live TV in this house. We go out to bars. Mm-hmm. That's right now my only option.
That's normal nowadays. You're good.
That is pretty normal nowadays. And it's also normal to get our wonderful producer out of here on time. So I'm going to end it by saying you can reach me at The Sad Fan on Twitter, or you could reach the podcast at The Sad Fan Podcast on Twitter. You could also comment on any of our YouTube videos. We are back, baby, and I'm commenting back to you as soon as I log in. I promise there will be shows every week. I believe Josh is going to be guest producing because Taylor is going to be on a vacation next week, right?
I'm back on Friday, so I'll be here for Monday if that's when we're doing it.
This Tuesday. We're going to try to get one in the can for you. I don't want you struggling to get these done that fast. That's not what we do here. We do not run people into the ground. We're going to have you off and rolling on a normal note, on a normal Tuesday again. I'm so happy that we can get going on Tuesdays again. Josh, where can they reach you?
Oh, I'm Josh. We're at Gorp Show on the Twitter.
At Gorp Show.
At Gorp Show.
All right, I love it. And Taylor, where can they get you?
As always, find me on the things at It's Taylor Stone.
All right, guys, we appreciate all of you. Josh, thank you for stopping by and saying hi. On the Sad Fan, we appreciate your feedback, so please like, rate, review, and subscribe. We can't wait to see you next week.